little scrap or fragment or bit of language that's buzzing around in there and won't leave me alone. And eventually it sort of bumps into the dark, into another little bit of language, and something happens. Now sometimes that makes me think of stories and connects to stories, but it's very rarely a sort of deliberate desire to tell a story. So first I'm going to read you a little bit of language that was the inspiration for this next poem, and then I'll read the poem itself. I do see many people here who I know are photographers and photography teachers. This is from the photographer Diane Arbus, who for a while, a lot of her work was focused on photographing outsiders, freaks, people with physical deformities, carnival performers, drag queens, and this is what she writes about her own work. Freaks was a thing I photographed a lot. There's a quality of legend about freaks, like a person in a fairy tale who stops you and demands that you answer a riddle. Most people go through life dreading they'll have a traumatic experience. Freaks were born with their trauma. They've already passed their test in life. They're the true aristocrats. So, in some way I was thinking about that on some unconscious level, I started writing, and these two characters formed in my mind, these two carnival performers, these two freaks. One was called the Razor Eater, and the other was called the Snake Handler. My intention at that point was, okay, I'm going to write this allegorical poem where I use these characters to express sort of normal relationship issues about intimacy. So that the Razor Eater wants to be very, very careful. She knows how to avoid the sharp edges. She knows how to play it safe. She's not going to trust people. And the Snake Handler is a charmer, a risk taker. He believes in sort of flirting with danger. And so that was the conceit. But once I really started doing it, I'm not sure how well I executed the original conceit, because these characters became very real for me rather than symbols. And so this is the poem that had its life in this little bit of language from Diane Arbus. And it's called The First Date of the Razor Eater and the Snake Charmer. She almost always hears the brutal music of her father's voice. Even his silence is an eloquently veiled threat, slithering like uncanny light under a closet door. Only when she performs does the quiet shed its desiccated skin. She wishes her desires were more brittle, like bones in canned salmon. But what she says is, posing akimbo, head thrown back, gulping abandon, that's for fools. You've got to place life and death flat on your tongue, sculpt your cheeks to the edges. No, no. No, he replies, swallowing her puckered fingers in his quick hand. The cobra's hood is down, slick cable connecting nothing to nothing. The rattler's tail is silent. The white that gives the cottonmouth its name remains unseen, and the gaboon viper is a lustrous, turquoise-tinged bracelet. All through pie and coffee, she watches the pinball machine go yellow and green and purple like a bruise in reverse. Tiny minnows swim in the muscles of her wrist. He keeps biting back his words. She can't stop thinking about reaching into wire cages.